Okay, I just got a question now. My brother here and me. How does God look at Micah?
Different than you.
Does he look different than me? Think about it. God can talk to Michael. God can talk to me. Just because he's small and not very articulate, let me tell you what, I'm not very articulate either. But God can talk to him. Don't discount what God says to these people. Don't discount what God says to me. Or you. Understand, that's the whole essence. God is talking to you individually and the church corporately. Understand that there. God's been talking to us for a long time. It's time for us to stand up, put our big boy and girl britches on, and be the church that God wants us to be.
Yes, amen.
When they text me today, I started texting back to say no. Brother Todd and I'm asking you to take over tonight. But the Lord checked me. And I thank God for that. Because let me tell you what, folks. It's been kind of dry in the house. It's been kind of dry trying to communicate with God. Everything going on, chaos. It's hard for your mind when your mind's going 90 miles an hour. But when I said yes, I did, and I started praying, the Lord just opened up to me with freshness and crispness that I hadn't had in a long time. And I thank God for that. And it was only because of obedience. I could have still been in the same hole if I was disobedient. We don't ever know what God wants us to do or how He wants us to do it. So there's a lot of things that we don't understand. Let me tell you what, I've been in this religion, this salvation, the Assemblies of God church, my whole life. And I've been able to sit under some great men of God. But let me tell you what, they didn't know it all either. Romans 3:23 says we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God.
That's right.
So let me tell you, what's that tell me? We all begin at the same point.
That's right.
I don't care who you are, Pope or Pauper. We all begin at the same point.
That's right.
And God, you think about the awesomeness of God. I think about the earth. Well, there's billions of people on the earth today, and we're swarming around like ants, in God's eyes.
Yes.
Because He's out there. He's a great God. And we're on the earth, and the earth is spinning on its axis and kind of wobbling like a gyroscope. And then we've got the moon that's rotating around the earth. And then in our solar system, we're kind of spinning, and the whole Milky Way is just kind of tumbling. Everything is just going to some place that we don't know of. But you know what? God's greater than all that.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
No matter
Yes.
where you put them or how you put them, God is bigger than anything that I can ever imagine or comprehend.
Amen.
But you know what's special? He says that He knows the number of hairs on my head.
That's right.
Let me tell you what, I don't have as many as I used to have. But let me tell you what, when I get to heaven, He says He's going to give me a new name.
Amen.
That's special. No matter how great the world is, And let's be honest about it. I don't know if there's life on other planets, and who does. But let me tell you what, if they are, God put them there.
That's right.
And God created them because God's God.
Yes.
If He didn't put anything out there, I think it's kind of a waste of space.
Yeah.
So, but that's another discussion for another time. But let me tell you what, just because there's life on another planet, if there is, that don't make God no less than God. God's God. And understand that He created all things. Understand that creation does not tell the Creator what to do.
Yes.
Think about that. He's not limited to what we are. And so if you want to, I started to say turn to Acts or Revelation, and we'll start again, but I'm not going to do that yet. Turn to Isaiah chapter 40, please. Isaiah chapter number 40, start with verse 1. It says, comfort ye, my people, saith your God. My God. My God saying comfort. Understand at this time, the nation of Judah had fell into sin, and judgment was being put upon them. The Assyrians in chapter number 39 had besieged Jerusalem, but it didn't fall at this time. But see, in verse 40, it talks about the captivity. So something happened between chapter 39 and chapter 40. If you get a chance to read the first 39 chapters of Isaiah, and you'll see that the things that they face, folks, we're facing today. Let me tell you what, the chaos we see when we flip on the TV or cut on the radio, this wouldn't happen 4 years ago. Just 4 years ago, less than 4 years ago, this is happening. Let me tell you what, this is nothing new under the face of the sun.
Yes.
This is the same thing. Antifa is an anarchist group, and that means chaos, and that's not of God. Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with black lives. It's clannish. If you're not black, then you're wrong. Separation, that's not of God.
Right.
That's right.
And I hate to say this here, but the church is buying into that lie.
Yes.
It's time for the church to be the church. We are a church that's supposed to be peacemakers,
Yes.
unifiers.
Yes.
And if we're not going to do those things, we don't need to be the church.
That's right. That's good.
Just that simple, you know. And you know what breaks my heart? I read statistics the other day that 65 to 70% of the universities and colleges in the United States has same racial dormitories, same racial graduations. They separate the colors. Understand something, folks. In 1960, when I was growing up, people was dying in the street trying to get unification. And now the universities are separating folks. That's a lie, folks. We need to understand that's no unity in that there. That's not of God. It's time for us not to buy in to the hype and understand this here.
Yes.
We understand that in Isaiah 4 that a lot's going on. They're fixing to go into captivity for 70 years. But Isaiah is saying, comfort, comfort. This is at the beginning of the 70 years. He's seen the end.
Yes.
The church should see the end. We should not be upset about the chaos that's going on around us. It should excite us
Yes.
because it's a fulfillment of prophecy before our own eyes. Understand that there. Okay, there's a lot of scripture reading, but I got to read it to set the tone. It says, comfort ye, saith my God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. She hath received the Lord's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make it straight in the desert, and a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill shall be made low, the crooked shall be made straight, the rough places plain or smooth, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall be reveled, and shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. The voice said, cry, and he says, what shall I cry? And all flesh is grass, and the voice said, cry, and he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as a flower of the field. The grass withereth, and the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. Things are going to change, folks.
Yes.
The grass withereth and the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever.
Yes.
Let me tell you what, folks. I am a student of history. I love to read, and all the way through history, let's try to explore this word. First time I read this Bible from cover to cover was because what do they not want me to know? What do they not want me to know? Understand, chaos around us. Understand, this world is what? It's fallen, right? So it's sin. They don't want us to know this word. There was a reason Jesus told his disciples in the upper room in the Last Supper that if you didn't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy you one. He wasn't saying do violence, but he was saying that if you become humble as sheep and they destroy you and shut you up, then the world wins.
Yes.
The church is time to stand up and speak in one unified voice, and that unified voice is not mine or yours, it's God's.
Yes. Amen. Yes.
You know, let me tell you what, this has been burning in me for a couple of weeks now. I see this here, you know what upsets me more than anything else? I see this here, and let me tell you what, in the late 1800s, in the French Revolution, they called it the New Enlightenment, communism was born. In 1920, after World War I, and there was a complete financial chaos. In 1920, in the streets of Munich and Berlin and Germany, the same things happened in this States. Understand that there. And that brought about the fascists, the Nazi party. We don't need that, folks. We need the church to be the church.
Yes.
Understand that. The world out there has no answer. Politicians have no answer.
Yes.
But God does.
Yes.
You know, and it's time for us to understand that we're looking to everything in the world who we're supposed to. Let me tell you what, I can't let the world define me.
That's right.
I told Brother Todd Sunday, I said, if I'm having struggling with my feet, if God heals me, that's great, and I'm going to praise Him. But if He don't, it didn't make any difference. He's still God.
Yes. Amen.
And He's going to give me the strength to do what I need to do and say what I need to say.
Yes.
And it's time for us as a church to be brought up and to see these things and what it is. We've got to understand these things. I know I'm going to try not to ramble, because there's a lot in my mind. My mind's going in a lot of different directions, you know. 2 years ago, I asked God to take the spiritual scales off my eyes and let me see things. Be careful what you ask for. God may do it.
That's right.
There's a lot that goes on that I don't understand. And you know what breaks my heart is when God shows me something and I want to do something about it because I'm a man of action. If I see something that needs to be done, I need to fix it. I'm a teacher. You know, I'm a peacemaker. But God tells me, no, be still and watch me work. Tell you folks, that's hard.
Yes.
When you know what the problem, you know where the battle is. You know where the confrontation could be, and we need to stop it. But let me tell you what, folks, no matter what it is and how hard it is, I still got to tell you the truth. But I got to tell you the truth with compassion.
Yes.
You know, because if I stand up here and holler and scream and bring it out, it's going to shut people down. They won't understand.
Yes.
Let me tell you what, I don't claim to be a preacher. I'm not very good even at being a teacher. When we think about it and we see about it, but what we understand this is that Jesus told me that when I got saved is go ye into the world
Yes.
and preach the gospel. He didn't say teach the gospel, He said preach the gospel. That wasn't a calling. There's a special calling when God calls you to preach. But let me tell you what, He's called every single individual in here to do the same thing. It's what the Word says. It's time for the church to be the church. We have set back too long. We need to talk with a unified voice. And understand, folks, it's not about religion. Understand, religion was man-made in its form.
That's right.
Amen.
Salvation is perfect because it's made of God.
Yes. Amen.
Understand that. Anything that separates us is not of God.
That's right.
And let me tell you what, the church is bought into something about this last world government, the last world church, and they've kept quiet. And we've separated ourselves in our own little parties, and our own little groups, and we're getting comfortable, and we're staying in places we need to stay. And we don't want to be stressed anymore.
Yes.
We don't want to be moved anymore. Me and Sister Nell was talking Sunday. I said, I got to be stretched. I got to be stretched. I don't want to be comfortable. I know the Word says to be contented in the Lord. It doesn't mean be contented where you are. We should always be driving forward. Be contented what? In God.
Right. That's good.
That's what it's saying.
Yes.
Don't misread it. We've got to understand, even in this scripture here, He says that I've always been taught that He said that He doubled the judgment. He doubled the judgments. So I just immediately thought that it was twice as bad, right? But let me tell you what, I did a word study one time. And I went back to it today. Jesus enlightened me. He says, This double comes from a root word, Hebrew word, which means folded over itself. We got judgment. We got pardon. Folded on itself. What that tells me is that judgment is ended, pardon is ended, and he's beginning a new day. Understand what I'm saying? The church is on the brink of something great and miraculous. That great awakening we're talking about, it's coming, folks. If we're in it, fine. If we ain't, that's fine too, because it's still coming.
Yes.
It's up to us to be prepared to do it.
Yes.
That great awakening, we've got to be there. Let me tell you what. Over the last 3 years, I've heard the same message. Everybody that's ever stood up in this church and said something. Everybody. Same message. Different ways to put it. Said it different ways, but the same thing. It's wake up. What he's been saying for 3 years, wake up.
Yes.
Because he's got a job for us to do. And
Amen.
here's the thing about it. If we won't do it, he'll let us wither on the vine and die.
Yes.
Right.
Amen.
And let me tell you what, one of the biggest fears of my life is to think that I've served God my whole life. And I've prayed for folks that they got healed, and I've cast out devils in His name. And then when I get to heaven, He looks at me and says, "Depart from me, I never knew you."
Yes.
I said, but Lord, I cast these demons out in your name. I never knew you. This is not a game, folks. It's a time for the church to stand up and look at the spiritual mirror and look at our reflection. What are we seeing? If we don't see Christ, we need to come to His arms.
Yes.
Just that simple. Everything that's going on is what needs to be done, what needs to be said. Understand chaos is going to be here because we live in a fallen world. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to let that define me.
That's right.
I'm not, the church should be defined by the actions. But we do, let's paint a broad brush. How many police officers are there in the United States? Okay, we've got one or two. Let me tell you, one or two is too many. That's doing wrong. Wrong's wrong, folks.
Right.
But you can't paint that broad picture. It's the same thing saying, well, all Christians are heathens, fanatics, and that's not true. We understand it. Not everybody in our family thinks the same. I tell y'all look at me, and I don't think the same.
That's right.
I mean, understand, it's the differences and the nuances that's in us that God put in us that made us special. Being different is not wrong. Let's understand that there. As long as we line up in God's umbrella, the umbrella that God has for His church, we need to do this. We see here that Isaiah is prophesying that there's going to be comfort. Comfort. Okay, it says comfort you. Let's put that in plain, everyday English. He says comfort you. And He says it twice. He's emphasizing comfort you. Comfort you. In the process of comfort me.
Yes.
Why? Because my God says so. My God puts me where I need to be if I allow it. And that's the key, if we allow it. I told my Sunday schools, I don't know if this group of my Sunday school class, but I've told them in the past that I wish to God I could put rings, spiritual rings in your nose and drag you down to the altar. And y'all together, and I'll pray for you, and I'll ask forgiveness for you, and then I can give it to you. But it don't work that way, folks. It's an individual walk with Christ.
Amen.
And let me tell you what, if your individual walk with Christ is dysfunctional, surprise, the church is dysfunctional.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right.
Think about it. And if the church, hey, my God tells me when God blesses His people, He blesses the people around Him.
Yes.
If this nation is not being blessed, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. We understand that God's God and He has all the power and glory and majesty. But let me tell you what, sometimes chaos comes with bad choices that we make.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And let me rephrase that. Chaos happens because of the bad choices I made.
Yes.
I'm no angel. I'm just forgiven.
Amen.
Think about this a lot, you know. Had an individual that I love very dearly come to my house. And the main reason he come over is that he was arrested, stole a car, dealing in drugs. And he asked me, he wanted me to pray that he would get off. And I asked him, I says, son, do you want to change? He says, no, I'm having a good time. I said, I can't pray for you. If you're not willing to change, God's not going to allow that. Why waste my breath? You know that what broke my heart about that day? He got a telephone call. And he stepped out to come back in. And the Lord quickened me right there. And I said, what's his name? I told him, son, I said, don't ever disrespect me in my house. I don't want no drug dealers going on my roof. And he apologized. I told him, you are welcome here at any time. And he walked out to the car. I went out there with him and rolled the window down. And you could smell the acidity, smell of pot. And I mean, immediately the old man went back to that there. But it wasn't a good time. It was wasted years that I'd run from God and didn't do what he told me to.
Yes.
Wasted time. The only promise I got is that as long as I'm serving God, he said he would redeem that time back.
Amen.
I don't know what's ahead of us. I don't know what's ahead of me. If he, like I said, well, my feet, if he heals me, fine. If he doesn't, it doesn't make any difference because he's going to give me the strength to do what I need to do and to say what I need to say.
Amen.
Yes.
We understand that there. It's time for us to be the people of God that he wants us to be.
Amen.
How many people would agree that God's a God of action? So if that's the case and that's his characteristics, should we not be like him and be people of action?
Yes.
Yes.
I hate to say sometimes we are, but it's not of God.
That's right.
Oh me,
Yeah.
oh me. I can't point nobody else, I can point at me. Sometimes I get jacked. I got to ask God about that there. I'll tell you what, folks, I don't have all the answers. I'm not where I completely need to be with God. It's always going to strive because I believe in my heart that if I get where God wants to be, tomorrow I won't be here.
Yeah.
I'm done. I've fulfilled what He's asked me to do. But until then, I'm going to do something that Granddaddy told me. He said, son, yeah, I asked him, he was ordained Assembly of God minister for over 50 years. I sat under great people. Here's an individual that had a 4th grade education and couldn't hardly read, but he could pick that Bible up and read it. He can pronounce names in that Bible I can't pronounce. That's God, folks.
That's right.
That's God. I've sat under ministries where I know I was saved and I was going to heaven. I was ready to go to Dayton, and they started preaching hellfire and brimstone, and I couldn't wait for them to be quiet before I get to the altar and ask God to forgive me. I tell you what, we don't hear that no more.
That's right.
You know, understand something. It says the only way that we can see God is to be what? Holy.
That's right.
How do we get holy? It's more God and less of me.
Yes.
Amen.
Okay, how do we get there? Prayer, fasting, meditating on His Word. You know, listening to the Word, listening to the truth of the Word, rightly dividing the Word. Let me tell you what, folks, I can honestly say that I always rightly divided the Word. When I was growing up in church, there was times I really made it hard on my Sunday school teachers. Most of them was young Christians. And I've been in this my whole life. I know what the Bible said. And you don't think I could twist it? God should have struck me dead on the spot. But He didn't. And if someone told me that I'd be teaching Sunday school for over 30 years, I'd tell them they didn't know what they was talking about. So be careful what you do. God will turn it back on you. Understand that? He'll turn it back on you. Because why? Not because he wants to be me, it's because he loves me. And let me tell you what. I had individuals that sat under my teaching that was just like me. And I know it. And they tried to twist the word. They tried to do these things. And they would get so upset with me and say, well, Brother Jack, you don't tell me what I want to hear. And I said, my job ain't to tell you what you want to hear. I'm supposed to tell you what you need to hear.
Yes.
I had an individual come to me one time and says, I want you to pray about this individual because I want to go with him and possibly get married. And I said, I can't pray that way. I'll pray that God will send you the one that he wants for you. He said, oh, no, I can't let you do that there. I said, I can't pray for you then. Your needs may not, or your wants may not be right.
Yes.
Let me tell you what. Some of these folks has been here a length of time understand. How many people in here has ever dated somebody that you see them now and said, thank God.
Yes.
Not that I'm perfect, but thank God that he sees me in the future. This is not the truth. You know? All right. But we understand that God is a God of order and balance, right? It's not chaos. He did not create the goldfish and then he said, oh, by the way, I need to create the sea. It don't work that way.
That's right.
He does everything in balance.
Yes.
Always will. If you look around you and there's chaos going on, it's not God. Just that simple. And let me tell you what, you can flip on the TV for the last 3.5 years, there's been chaos in Washington. They don't have the answer. They don't want the answer, folks.
No.
They want to shut you up. When I say you, church. They want to shut the true church up. And you know what breaks my heart during all this ride that goes on? They destroyed certain monuments. One was Thomas Jefferson's in Boston. Tell you what, this individual wasn't perfect. Never claimed to be perfect. You know, he was a slave owner, but let me tell you what, I don't own slaves. Don't hold it against me.
That's right.
Let me tell you what, since 1965, every individual's been to school with me has had the same opportunity I had. Let me tell you, in 1865, black people was hiding to learn to read and write. And now they go to school and have a free education, they can't read and write. Why? It's to keep them in bondage.
Yes.
We have the, and I hate to say this, but the churches fell into that. I said that in the past. We need to understand that. But we also understand that no matter what's going on in our life, that God is a God of order and balance. You know, it's real easy for us to look at the negatives that are around us
Yes.
every day. Understand that we live in a world that is fallen. It's sin. How many people ever heard, I know you have, but I'm going to say, how many people have ever, well, show hands, how many people heard that God would rather you be hot or cold, because if you lukewarm, He's going to spew you out of His mouth.
Yes.
How many people heard that there? You know what that's saying? He's saying, I'd rather you serve me or not serve me, because if you lukewarm, that means the world has tempered you to the temperedness around you, and I will puke you out of my mouth.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm sick of you. Let me tell you what I hate to say, the church has been puked out of God's mouth sometimes.
Yes.
We've let the world dictate to us when we should be dictating to the world. I'm talking about myself individually. We've got to continue this process. We've got to continue growing. We know that distress comes to everyone. They can be the results of poor judgments or sinful choices we make. They could be caused by the attacks of Satan. And understand these attacks are allowed by God to do what? To enlighten us, to open our eyes.
Yes.
It's not to hurt us. It's not to bring us down and break us down. is to make us grow.
Yes.
Sometimes they're simply part of the natural course of life. Understand, folks, we really bad about giving credit to Satan and blame to God when it has nothing to do with it. It's just the way it is. It's a sinful world, and there's good things going to happen. Bad things going to happen to good people. Period. Is it right? No, it's not right. But that's just the way it is. It is because of sin. The question is, when distressing times come, will we rely on God's comfort and strength or on our own?
Yes.
Tell you what, folks, there's a lot of times I said, God, you busy, I got this. And I said something a long time ago, when Jack gets involved, it usually gets jacked up. It does. So, we need to say that there. So, we understand these things. We also understand that God is a God of judgment. But we also see again in chapter 4 that He's also a God of what? How can God be judgment and comfort at the same time? It's because He's God.
That's right.
Let me tell you what, if God wants to do something different, hey, He's God. He can do it.
Amen.
Yes.
He didn't ask my permission. He didn't hire me to be His consultant. You know, just because it's different, that don't make us wrong. It's just different.
Yes.
We get heartburn over things. We let things upset us and separate us about things that are so trivial.
That's right.
I read a story one time about they was going to reshingle the church because the shingles had got old. And they was almost split the church. You know how they fixed it? Half the church was shingled black, half of it was white. You know. Kept the church intact, but what did that community look at that there?
Division.
Chaos and separation. Think about that. I told Brother Paul when I joined the church that I love everybody in this church, always have. I guess I always will. If I believe that I'm a hindrance, I'll get out of the way. I'm not going to hinder God's will.
Yes.
Understand that there. It ain't about me, it's about Him.
Yes. Amen.
Always will be. I told him that understand one thing. I'm not going to sit in the board meeting, and I'm not going to sit in an annual visit meeting where there's chaos and fighting. It has nothing to do with people that I hate or I disagree with. I just don't have to listen to them. Because it's a separation. It's time for us to say, shut this thing out and go on. Let's go back, let's pray, think about it. We'll come back again. See where it is. Let me tell you what. When we was negotiating at work, I always tried to open my negotiating with this thing. And I said, Brother Tim, if you got a penny and I got a penny, and we exchange pennies, what have we got? A penny, right? But if you got an idea that lines up with God, and I got an idea that lines up with God, and I give you that, you receive it, and you give me what you have, and I receive it, what do I got? Two ideas.
It's a good idea.
Brother Tim's got two ideas. Who's the richer? It's the ideas, it's not the money. That's filthy lucre, folks. If it's from God, it's going to be beneficial. You may not like it. Let me tell you what, God's told me things that stung me to the core. Tell you what, I don't even remember what Brother Paul said, but I left here chomping at the bit, saying that I've been in this my whole life. I didn't have to listen to this mess anymore. I went home and you tell me how upset it is. I couldn't even eat lunch. And you know, if I can't eat, that's problems. I got me a glass of tea and I was sitting there like ground on that thing, ground on that thing. And I took a deep breath and closed my eyes and I heard the voice just like I'm talking now. It says, "What you so upset about? Is it true?" When you hear the voice of God, you'll fall on your face and correct things real quick.
Yeah.
I apologized to Brother Paul, and he says, I didn't know you was upset. It don't make any difference. I left here, mate. It has nothing to do with you. It was me. I was in the wrong. Let me tell you what. Brother Todd used an example, I think it was Sunday, about the shepherds, sheep. I was sitting over there and the Holy Spirit changed my thoughts a little pattern, and I talked to him afterwards. I said, well, think about this. We got the master of the sheep. That's God. Okay? Then we got the shepherd of the sheep. Now, folks, that's Jesus. That shepherd got a bunch of sheepdogs. That's the pastors. When them sheep get in danger, that sheepdog's going to get next to them and try to push them away. I tell you what, when you try to push these sheep or a good boy, what they going to do? They can push back. But he keeps gently pushing and pushing. If you don't go, what does that sheepdog do? He nips the sheep at the heels. Ow! Tell you what, sometimes pastors got to hurt their feelings. Tell y'all, it's the truth. Is the sheepdogs wrong for what they're doing? No. They're under the leadership of the shepherd. We sheep. Let's hope we're sheep. Sometimes I think we're goats. Sometimes I've been a goat and bad. Really bad. But sometimes I'm a sheep. Understand that shepherd. He would take little sheep, young sheep, little lambs that didn't have the strength to carry, and he would take those lambs to that new pasture. Understand that the snow and the higher elevations would build off and the new grass would go. They would move those sheep from the lowlands to the highlands to that fresh grass. And before they would put them in the pasture, that shepherd would go through that pasture and look at the rocks and the holes there, because in northern elevations of Israel, they had what they call adders, which are snakes. Those snakes bite those sheep, it could kill them. So he's walking around, if he sees a snake or not. If he sees a hole, he uncover that olive oil and he pour it in the hole. It would help. It would make it slick, make it hard for the snake to come out, and it would repel the snake. When he brought those sheep in there, he would anoint those sheep's head, cover their whole head, because when a sheep feeds, his nose is on the ground. He's not on the ground. That shepherd was covering those sheep. Let me tell you, my great shepherd has given me the Holy Ghost to cover me in times that I don't even realize I'm in danger.
Yes.
That's right.
God has completed a complete package. Period. How can we rely on God? Three things. First, we need to recognize that God cares about us.
Yes.
Do you believe God cares about us?
Yes.
We already said He's a great God. He controls the whole world, but He knows me personally. He made me. Understand, folks, He spoke everything in existence, but when He comes to making man, He formed us with His own hands. And put the breath of life in us. And made us just a little higher than the animals. We have dominion over them. They don't have dominion over us. So why in the world are we bowing down to graven images of sheep and goats and everything else when we're higher than them?
Yes.
You see how stupid that sounds?
Yep.
Think about it. The scripture talks about that. It talks about how they would mold images of gold and put them on chains where they could hang them around their neck where they would always be covered. But even those folks that didn't have the riches to buy those things, they'd go out and find them a tree stump somewhere and carve a face on it and bow down and worship something they can't move. see how,
Huh.
I started to say stupid, that's not the word. See how unenlightened that is?
Yes.
You know, but let's be honest about it, folks. How many times have we done the same thing?
Yeah.
We may not have bowed down to an image, but we bowed down to something like God. So we've got to rely on God. And we know that God cares about us, you, me. He wants to comfort us all. Okay? No respect to person. Second, we must acknowledge Him as our source of strength and trust ourselves into care and will for our lives. Understand. When God cares about me, He wants my protection, right? I mean, I want His protection, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Okay? See, there you go. Listen to me, I'm just confused. So we understand that. That's pretty easy, right? Because we're receiving something.
Yes.
Let me say I've always said that we all begin the same place, we come to the altar, we get saved, we get fully, completely, and utterly saved at that point. But folks, that's not the end, that's just the beginning. It's not rose petals and perfume. It's a battle in a war.
Yes.
And that battle of war is for life and death of your soul and by your name. But here's the thing about it. Yes, so he wants to care for us. We'll receive that, right? But what that second part of what I said. But also for the will, His will for our life. You mean that I'm not the one in control? Folks, y'all know me. I like control. I like to be in control. Hey, I'm pretty basic. I can take the same way home and sit down and eat the same thing every night. There's other folks can't. Nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, I do like dumplings, but hey, I love fried chicken. I love the blessings of God, but oh me, I got to take what He tells me to do too. If I don't, I'm living below my means, and His means for me.
Yes.
And folks, I hate to say that I have lived under my means way too long. It's time for me to stand up and be a big boy. It's time for me. Let me tell you what. I went into adulthood kicking and screaming. If you don't think so, let me get down to the floor with the youngins. I do not like adulthood. Too binding. Too disciplined. Where's the fun in that? Where's the carefree days that we used to have? But I hate to say that children, they don't have.
Right.
They don't have the freedom we had. But also they didn't have the discipline we did either. You know why there's chaos in the streets? Because in 1966 they took Bible reading out of school.
That's right.
They took prayer out of school. But let me tell you what, you know why they did that? Because when they did that, there was no right or wrong. There's no black or white. So the next thing that follows what? Discipline. You can't discipline somebody when there's no right or wrong.
That's right.
Now we've got a generation that's sitting around that, hey, I can do anything I want, anytime I want, because it's okay. They don't have any answers. They don't want any answers. They just want to be in control. You know how stupid that is? That means that if I want to go to Wendy's house and go to her deep freeze and get everything out of it, hey, I got that right. I hope Ricky don't shoot me. But hey, how stupid that sounds.
Yes.
And people are buying into that there. There's no reasoning anymore. Let me tell you what, if I have a fault with my sister, my Bible tells me to go to her and correct it. And if I can't, then take somebody with me. If not, then I've done everything I can do.
Yes.
It's time for the church to be the church. And that being said, let me tell you what, there's two things that I really struggle with in this church at an early age. One was when they asked me to teach Sunday school. I wasn't real smart, but I know somewhere down the line I heard something or read something that, if I say or do something wrong and somebody stumbles and falls and goes to hell, I'm responsible. I was hung up on doing something wrong instead of allowing God to do something wrong.
Right.
I'm not perfect, I make mistakes. And let me tell you what, you don't think I can make mistakes, ask my Sunday school class. They'll tell me. But hey, that's fine, because I told them that first day, I want to be accountable. If I'm wrong, let me know, because let me tell you what, I don't want to go to hell, folks. But let me tell you what, on the same point, if I go to one of them, I said, you're really screwing up. I don't want to get woof up and stomp off. I'm not doing it to hurt you. Tell you what, when this pastor gets behind that pulpit, and it's a reason they call it a pulpit, it means it's pulling people out of the gates of hell. It's what it is, pulpit. There's a reason. Understand these altars are altars. Altars is not something we just kind of sit on and cry around. It's where we're supposed to sacrifice blessings and offerings to God.
Amen.
Yes.
It's time to get back to basics 101. God has not changed since the beginning of time.
Amen.
We have.
Yeah, amen.
And let me tell you what, I told Brother Todd, when all this social distancing and shutting everything down, we just finished the book of Acts, folks. It took us forever, but we finished it. And what did we realize? That there was persecution going on, and they did what? They had church individually throughout the world amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Understand, folks, that's the early church. This is not the early church. Understand that Christians wasn't even welcome in the synagogues. Think about that. Brother Todd mentioned the Synagogue of Christ the other day. And there's things that quick in my mind when he said that there. I think it's over in October. I can't think of what the text is. What it is the ending of the Bible reading of the Torah. And on that there Sabbath day, they come there and everybody gets a chance to hold the scriptures, hold those scrolls, and they dance around thanking God for the Word. Not that they finished their reading, but tomorrow I start over again. How many times do we say, okay, God, I'm saved, I'm ready to go, I got the pen, I got the cup, I got the cap.
That's right.
God's bigger than that.
Yes, amen.
You know, we got to live, we're living below our means. Okay, so we've got to rely on God. We've got to acknowledge that He cares for us. Whew. We've got to learn to wait upon the Lord.
Yes.
Then we've got to be patient. We've got to be dedicated. We've got to be consecrated. That's That's maturity. That's not what God wants.
Yeah.
Wait on the Lord. You know what that, if you go back to the original text, that's the Hebrew word wait. That word is also means hope. To hope. Hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is having a dedicated understanding that you know that whatever it is, it's right. Let me tell you what, I do not know when in my life I can tell you that I know there was a God. I just always did. Yeah. May have been the teaching being brought up in church. Maybe it's sunk in. I don't know. But I know. There's no way that I can prove to you that Jesus walked this earth for 33 years preaching the gospel and hung on the cross for our sins and He's the Son of God. Can't prove that to you. But I know He is. I can't prove that he died and was laid in the tomb, and on the third day he rose again, and he walked around before the ascension. I can't prove that to you, but I know he did.
Yes.
Understand that when he left and those people stood around him, I didn't have the opportunity to see that there. I didn't have the opportunity to sit under Jesus' teaching. Let's be honest about it. I've talked to Brother Todd about this and other people. You know, I would think if Jesus walked in the face there, I would hope that I would believe he was the Messiah. But would I? Could I be a Pharisee or a Sadducee? Just putting it out there. I don't know. But I do know that he is who he says he is. It's not going to change. And that when he ascended, he made a promise that he would come back in like manner.
Yes.
The book of Revelation says that if we overcome to the end, that in the new temple, in New Jerusalem, that we would be pillars of the temple. That don't mean we're going to stand there and hold up the roof. It means that we're going to be attendants in the temple. Tell you what, folks, I don't know about you, that if I'm attendant in the temple, that's close to God.
That's right.
If that's not something to strive for, I don't know what is.
Yes.
You've got to overcome these things. Okay, I'm going to close real quick, but I'm going to leave you with some words. Do you believe words have power?
Yes.
Words mean things,
Yes.
and sometimes we know words, but do we really know them? I'm really big about when I hear something. Why is it called that? Why is fishy fishing on the dog? I know the word says that God, that Adam named everything, and God gave him the knowledge to do that there, but I just got it. Or I want it. I don't have it. Okay. Trust. Trust is a strong belief that someone is honest or can be depended on. Synonymous with faith. Interchangeable. So if you trust God, that he says who he is, he's dependable. Care. Serious attention or interest in, a great regard for. If God says that he cares for us and that we're special and he's looking at us individually, he's concerned about me and everything over there. Hope. A strong feeling of foreshowing of something that one wants to occur. We wait on the Lord. We hope on the Lord. We have a strong feeling of showing of something that one wants to occur. If God made the promise and we're standing on that, we're waiting on that, we're hoping for that, if we want God to do what he said he'd do.
Yes.
Amen.
And if God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, he will.
Yes.
The scripture says he will not leave us nor forsake us, and never has. And let me tell you what, I have tried him in some very dark places. He's always been there.
Yes.
No matter if I put myself there or the world beat me down situation. He's always been there. Didn't always understand it. Don't understand it. You know, I kind of look, as the scripture said, we kind of look through this glass dimly. You know what that's saying? It says back during that time, they didn't have mirrors. They had polished brass. And they was seeing a misshapen reflection of themselves. It wasn't a true reflection. We got mirrors now, we still don't have no true reflection.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true.
Let's be honest about it. Let me tell you what. When they said the eyes are the windows to the soul, I kind of believe that now.
Yes.
Because when Judy had the heart attack and died in my house, I seen her leave their eyes. I seen her better. They worked on her for a solid hour after that at the hospital and everything else. And they looked at me and said, I don't know what else to do. And I looked at them and said, before I said this, we always prayed. Judy said that she wanted to be home. She wanted me there, and she wanted me quick. And that's what she prayed for. And my prayer was, Lord, let me be there, be calm, and know when to let go. So after an hour, they did everything that they did. They looked at me and says, I don't know what else to do. I said, quit. You all seen that daughter's face. He looks at me and says, do you know what you're saying? I said, yeah, I know exactly what I'm saying. You can work her hours. She hadn't been here. She's been gone. I knew that. And I look back now and say, that's one of the easiest things I ever had to do. What I should have prayed for, Lord, after that there, let me in peace of not realizing that's what I struggled with after that. But you know, because understand, I read the scripture and said he gave me the desires of my heart. The desires of my heart was not Jesus, Judy going home to Jesus. It was Jesus healing Judy for me. And that was selfish. Because let me tell you what, right now, I'm not going to be honest and say this without even doubting it one bit. There's no way in the world I'd ask God to send her back in shape that she was when she left. Can't do it. Yeah. But here's the catch about it is, I know when she left, I knew immediately because that's still small voice spoke. This is not the end. We'll see her again. But it's up to you. It's up to each and every one of us. Faith. Faith is belief or trust that does not question or ask for proof. We just know. How many times have you heard somebody say, prove to me there's a God? Go back to it. And my Bible says, in the beginning, God. If you can't get that right around here, close the book. Because you never will.
Yeah, it's true.
That's right.
Now understand that. And I'm not being short of them, or not being ignorant of them, or not being hard to them. That's the truth.
Yes.
Understand that by faith, I believe Jesus is who He said He is. He did what He said He was doing. He's going to do what He says to do. Can't prove that. There's no way I can prove that to you. But let me tell you what. There ain't nothing you can do to disprove it.
That's right.
You just know that you know.
Amen.
And let me tell you, when you know that you know, think about this. When you truly got saved, that peace come in your heart. You knew that you knew that there was something different.
Amen.
Think about that. You knew immediately. You felt that peace. Let me tell you, when I got saved, what this altar was offered just like this here. And when I got up, let me tell you, Fat Wolf seemed like he was floating across the floor. It was that way for days. And I couldn't understand when I talked to my friends and my family about what happened to me, that they did see it. Hardest thing in the world, teaching His Word, preaching His Word, witnesses to others, is that we have the good news. And they don't want it.
Right.
They don't sing on it. But let me tell you, folks, it's not my job to make them understand. It's my job just to tell them. Can't see. I might not be the one to harvest. Let me tell you what, I've said something along that, I think, and I've said this before here, but I have great respect for all the Sunday school teachers that are back here. Let me tell you what, when they get to me, they're teenagers, they're young adults, they're in high school. Sometimes they're going to make a commitment to God. And I have the advantages and the opportunity to see them through that. But let me tell you what, every Sunday school teacher that they set up, planted seeds, and fertilized, and pruned, I've been the opportunity to harvest. Don't take that lightly, folks.
Amen.
I understand it's not about me. It's about Him. It's about the love of God. We've got to know these things. We've got to know that the hope is out there. Understand, no matter what the chaos is, Jesus stood up in the boat during the storm and said, peace, be still, and what happened? Immediately calm.
That's right.
know Jerome Gibson. Anyway, him and Jerry went on a cruise. And he come back to work, and he was talking about a flock of flying fish. I said, Jerome, that's a school of flying fish. He said, these flying is a flock. Now, how do you argue with that? But you know, flock or school, doesn't make it. They still flying fish. Why do I need to hang my hat on the differences?
Right.
Hang my hat on the truth.
Right.
No matter who says it,
Yes.
if it's the truth.
That's right.
That's what God wants us to do, individually, as corporately. He wants the church to stand up and be the church that He desires. Let me tell you what, I said this before, earlier, that word on the brink of something is very great. There's going to be an awakening that's going to impact this world.
Yes.
God wants us to be part of that. But it's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. Tell you, I've said things in here. You know, I said, I read the scriptures where the house was shaken by the power of God. And I told Brother Todd, Brother Paul, I said, I want to do that one time before I die. I want to be in the house where the building shakes with His Lord. I may see it, I may not. It's not going to make any difference. God's still God.
Right.
It's something I'm looking forward to.
Yes. Amen.
And let me tell you what, that expectation is what's in the church. Maybe there's a difference between knowing God is coming and looking for Him.
Right.
Let me tell you what, girls, ladies, when you had a date and you know they was coming, was it more exciting when you seen them coming? Hey, I'm the bride of Christ. When I see them coming, I'll get excited.
Yeah.
I'm in touch with them. Okay? In that way. Because, you know, understand when, thank goodness they don't have marriages like they do in the Middle East. Sister Lisa and Brother Manny just got married. Whew, that was quick. You know, and the Jewish wedding, it lasted for days, weeks. And when they get married, the bride and the groom will have to go to war, you have to go to the job. They build a little apartment on the roof of the parents' house. They're spending a year trying to put together one another. I'll tell you what, I'm the bride of Christ. And how many times I said, I wish I could live in the house, this church. It'd be so easy. It ain't about being easy, folks. It's about doing what God said.
Yes.
We've got to impact the world. In the past, there was nothing going on. People would come to church. People would talk about what's going on in the community. The church impacted the community. Now we've got churches on every doorstep, and we're not impacted with the people in the buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not what God does. That's not what He designed.
Yes.
Understand, you know, think about this. Peter and Paul, when they were on the missionary trips, they went to all these churches they set up, and they took up offerings for what? To the Jews in Jerusalem. Don't you think that the Jews in Jerusalem ought to be sent into the church out there? God didn't ordain it that way. I don't have to, what's the word? I don't have to be able to comprehend everything that God wants me to do. I just need to get to the point where He says, do of it.
Yes.
Don't question it. You know, y'all pray for me. I'm still praying about messages and tongue interpretation. I just, you know, I know Satan's got that twist around my head that God, I want to be. You know, if I want to speak for God, I want to make sure it's
Amen.
You see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And I'm hung up on that. But that's me. It's not God. It's me.
That's right.
I'm going to get over it. Then you think I can't shut up now? to say, sometimes we lose sight of things, and so
That's right.
we get chaos. But always understand that Jesus said He would what? Leave His peace with us. Always. And understand that God's peace passes all understanding. No matter what the chaos is around you, you can have peace. That may not change the chaos, but it sure change the peace.
That's right.
Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity, O Lord. I thank you, O Lord Jesus, for the freedom you gave me, O God. I ask you right now, Lord, for each and every one of us to take what you've given to me, Lord, and I've, to the best of my ability, to give it to the people, Lord. We ask you, Lord Jesus, to place it in their heart, Lord. We ask you, Lord, to comprehend. Let the Holy Spirit go to them. Enhance what I said, Lord Jesus. If there's any confusion, Lord, we want peace, Lord Jesus, about everything, Lord, and everything, Lord. We ask you, Lord Jesus, that we know that you are the same yesterday and forever, and that's a promise that we can stand on. We also understand by that there is that when you said that you will come back in like manner, you will, Lord God. And that promise is that of the eternity. That is that blessed hope that we, the church, has. That you are coming back and that we will dwell with you forever. And I thank you, Lord Jesus, for that hope and that commitment, oh Lord Jesus. For that understanding that you placed in my life. I ask you now, Lord Jesus, to touch this church. Bless this church, Lord. We ask you, Lord Jesus, let us be a church of action, be a church that you want us to, and we give praise to your name. Amen.